I'm very thankful to be invited to this forum for promotion homeopathy, international forum, and I'm giving greetings from Münster, the hometown of Bönninghausen, who was an ardent follower of Hahnemann, and we were asked to give a live presentation, but we found out that it's getting darker, and we have been cleaning the monument here behind us since few hours, and it's really cold. We are in the starting of the spring, and I think we can send you a lot of wetness, which is just the source of life. Like all our potencies are always diluted with liquids, with water, and water is a wonderful element. So we have plenty of this here now, and we hope spring will make some blossoming of a lot of flowers. So nice greetings, and I wish the whole 24 hours a good success. And my colleague, which is also here, and I will show you also my other colleagues here. We have been cleaning this monument. This is our hobby. We do that every year at this 10th of April and clean that monument with Bönninghausen. But I will tell you tomorrow more about the whole Bönninghausen story. We'll see each other tomorrow. So this is just a greeting. And now my colleague, Veronika Fischer, wants to talk a little bit. One moment. Ja. Du brauchst auch nichts zu hören.
Ach so, okay, einfach so?
Ja, höchstens,
Okay.
dass das dann so drüber liegt.
Ah, yeah. Hello, my name is Veronika Fischer. I'm not a medical doctor like Andreas, but a homeopathic healer since 24 years in Münster. There are several thousands of homeopathic healers in Germany. We call them homeopathic Heilpraktiker. And for us, Bönninghausen has a very special meaning. Bönninghausen was not only a student of Hahnemann, he is not only a very
present Roman, and he wants to present the rest. Yeah. So please ask to make him call because he needs
or suffering from of family members, the searching for answers beyond academic medicine is often the reason for healers to learn the homeopathy.
all the names first.
Because homeopathy is more than only one therapy among many. It's a philosophy of life, of health and of illness, of being a human being, a creator, connected with everything in nature. For this reason, homeopathy became the most important subject in my life. I'm a practitioner in homeopathy since 1997, and in the early 2000 years I founded the Homöopathiezentrum Münster. I educate homeopaths and hold seminars for homeopaths and organize seminars for other homeopaths. In the spirit of Hahnemann and for Bönninghausen, imagine to do anything else for the rest of my life. At the end, I want to say thank you to you, Andreas. You were the initiator to build this Bönninghausen monument behind us, and you had this wonderful idea to meet here every year on Hahnemann's birthday with flowers and cake and tea and rum, because it's always very cold on the 10th of April in Münster. And I say hello to all homeopaths all over the world, and especially the homeopaths in India, where nowadays homeopathy is bigger and more respected than in Germany. Thank you and bye.
Yes, and just to show you, we hold the candle of homeopathy up.
Yes.
Here, at the roots.
And we have the flowers of spring also,
Yeah.
but it's so cold.
Yes, little bit of flowers. Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Andreas Holling. Actually, they were celebrating the Hanuman's birthday in Bonninghausen's place. All of you know that Bonninghausen was the closest associate of Dr. Hanuman and has written many books in homeopathy. And they were celebrating the Hanuman's birthday yesterday in Germany, Münster. And they wanted to enter into our platform, but somehow they could not. And because of the time difference and the temperature, everything, they could not enter. That's why they sent a video today to show their support and affection towards ifph. So thank you, Dr. Andreas Holling. I hope he is online. And I also take this opportunity to invite Dr. Roman Buchinensky, MSc ISCH RC Home. He is from Israel, and he will be talking about the provings to the world, the story of one unique proving. He has been doing a lot of work to promote homeopathy through his Via Homeopathica and a hotline, through which he is connecting with around 15-20 countries every month. And I also got some opportunity to present some cases and seminars on his hotline, which is very popular in Europe. And I invite him for this session. And also I would like to invite some other doctors also, because they are all together. So I will start from the very beginning. The names I will just tell the names, and then he will introduce in a better way all these doctors. So the first one to introduce itself is Dr. Andreas Holling from Münster, Germany. He will be talking about he's a classical homeopath, a general practitioner, practicing in the same building where Dr. Bonninghausen was practicing. And he will be presenting the homeopathic adventure, his adventures with homeopathy. Then we have Dr. Jingen Wayland, naturopath and master of science in homeopathy, MSc Home, from Germany. He will be presenting the homeopathic journey. Another one is, of course, Dr. Roman, I have already mentioned. Then the next one is Dr. Alexander Fedev, psychiatrist, psychotherapist, and homeopath from Russia. Then Dr. Svetlana Popov, the psychiatrist and psychotherapist homeopath, PhD in medicine from Russia. And the next one will be Alina Levin, RC Home from Israel. She will be talking about the achievement of first homeopathic service at hotline Via Homeopathica. And also now I would like to introduce Gay Taylor, RCH Home from Israel again. Homeopathy, he will be speaking on homeopathy in Israel. Another doctor will be Durga Chova, MD, Zoya Durga Chova, MD, PhD, and Executive Director of the Association of Homeopaths Ukraine. And she is the National Vice President of LMHI and also the President of the Homeopathic Association in Ukraine. Then I would like to introduce Peter Naidenov, LOCH, ISCH, and from Bulgaria. He will be talking about the state of homeopathy in Bulgaria. So I am now handing over to Dr. Roman for coordinating and moderating this session for the next 3 hours, because he has voluntarily came forward to help us in our venture of 24-hour Zoom session in association with the celebrating the Hanuman's birthday, 266th birthday, and the World Homeopathic Day. Thank you for each and every one of you. And also I would like to ask Dr. Roman to take over, Roman Bichaneski to take over the next 3 hours and moderate it properly. Thank you very much for your kind participation, and we'll meet again and again. Okay. So he will be the coordinator and organizer also.
Thank you, Dr. Jos. And I'm very glad we met through Dr. Olga Levina. And I know that you are host in Moscow now. And please send my regards to our Russian colleagues and to Dr. Olga Levina. And hello, everybody. I would like to introduce, first of all, Dr. Andreas Holling, my very close friend and colleague from Germany. I remember first time we met in Holland, and it was in a meeting of ARHF. This is an international homeopathic association, and we are dealing with supplying first homeopathic aid in Africa usually. So since then, a few years we meet and discuss homeopathy and participate in different homeopathic events. So I'm very glad to introduce you Andreas Holling, and he will talking about his adventures in homeopathy. Andreas, are you with us? We will be waiting for Andreas. Andreas? Andreas?
Hello.
Andreas, are you here?
Please unmute Andreas Holling.
Thank you. So now Andreas will come and will tell his story. Very interesting story, and he is doing very interesting journey in homeopathy. He has a very busy clinic in his city. And interestingly enough, what Dr. Jos mentioned, when Dr. Andreas Holling started his practice, he didn't know that his clinic actually is in the same house of Dr. Bönninghausen. And it was very surprised for him. Andreas? Just a second. If there is some problem, we will start with another lecture. Andreas, are you here? Oh, so we will ask unmute you. Okay, just a second. Yes, yes. No. You are in the wrong. I will send you now the right link. Please come in. No, I will send you, and we are waiting for you. Okay, it's communication. Just a second, and we will do it. here we are. Andreas? Oh, yes. Andreas, you are with us. Great. And I would like to ask to unmute Andreas Holling from the organizers. Organizers.
Hello, good morning.
Andreas, everything is okay? Оль, подключили только что.
Yeah.
Andreas, so you are actually in a city of Berningshausen now.
Yes, right.
And how it cleared up that you started your practice in the same house where Dr. Berningshausen was?
No, that's not true. This was only, it was not the house, because that house doesn't exist. It has been destroyed in the Second World War. Mm.
So what is the story with the Berningshausen clinic you told me?
Well, I will just show more about Berningshausen in my talk. This is the main object of the talk. I can show you the house, how it was, and some stories, interesting stories about history, and this big personality we can learn a lot of. And he has been one of the founders of homeopathy, and I did a lot of research on this, and this will be the main object of the talk.
Okay, great. So yeah. You're welcome.
So I'm very sorry. Yesterday, when the inauguration of the 10th, we were at the place of his where he is buried, and we have built a memorial there. And I can show. I hope my screen is shared, so I can show what we recorded live from the event. One moment.
Andreas, we already showed this piece.
Okay, so we don't need that. Okay.
Yeah,
so I will just go on, because I think it's 1 hour to go on. So I'll go to the presentation, and can you give me allowance to share the screen?
Yeah, we will ask now to give you allowance to share the presentation.
Okay. So you can see everything? So, maybe I'll show. So hello everybody. Some people I can see on this Sunday morning. I hope you all know Clemens Maria von Bönninghausen and his contribution to homeopathy. And I can really, let me make it bigger, share some historical insights from his moment. Can you see this also? Yes, I hope.
Yes, everything is okay.
So I will tell a bit about his life. He's one of the people that you don't find in these days anymore, who was a very, we would call him a generalist. So he was born in a time where people could study many things and change their jobs, which is now also asked for, but he was someone to think out of the box. So he was born in 1785, and The first phase is about to tell about his upbringing a little bit, and then how he started his family, and then his work as a lawyer and working for the government till 1835. You can see this is already being 45 years when he got ill. He got ill with tuberculosis, and when he started, and by good luck of a friend who was a botanist, and it's interesting to see that the disease, a severe disease which you have overcome, so your own personal experience is always the core of science and what you start in life. And we see it in many homeopaths that they have a turning point where they started to get interested in homeopathy by their experience. And he was not a homeopathic doctor at all, but so he went through a lot of difficulties, government difficulties, which we still have. And we can see also in Germany that it's getting more difficult to stand up for homeopathy. And we can see how he overcame it by having a lot of friends in the government. And he then was a very famous homeopath in Münster. And he somehow took over the legacy of Hahnemann. His son took over the clinic in Paris. These are some interesting things we found out in the time. So this is the house where he was born, took Bergen, which is near the border to Holland. So it is in Holland, in fact. And this house where Bönninghausen was born is still there. So here is a map where you can see down there is Münster, down in the right corner. This is our town. We are near the Holland border, which is the yellow marked line. And here is his birth town. And here, just to mention it, this is the place where he studied. So he studied in Groningen, where now are a lot of good homeopaths. So there's a long history of homeopaths in this region, and we're very happy to have this deep roots. So this is a picture of Münster, how it might have looked, where he, so his father went to Germany, and he was sent to Münster to have his school. And here you can see how dates are parallel to Hahnemann's dates. So when you can see when Bönninghausen was born in 1785, Hahnemann was 30. So they are 30 years apart. So he was a kind of scholar of Hahnemann, and we still have really a big book of letters between Hahnemann and Bönninghausen, and it is a really friendship that developed as the master and his scholar. We can see a lot of discussions there, and Hahnemann was very fond of Bönninghausen, although he wasn't a doctor, but he was so much in knowledge of homeopathy that Hahnemann recognized his authority. So this is...
Andreas, sorry to interrupt. People say that the slides not changing, that they don't. Are you in the first slide yet?
I'm sorry. I'm showing them. I'm showing the slide. So maybe I'll have to take this one. I'll start it again.
Mm-hmm.
One moment. I'll take that one. Only that I have this moderators. You can see this now?
Yes,
Better?
I can see. Yes, it's better.
I'll keep it in this format better.
Okay.
Okay. So this was the house where he was born. This house still exists, and this was the map where you see Münster down here, and Groningen is up there. And here's his house. So this is the border between Holland and Germany. So we are.
Sorry, Andreas. We just see the first slide with the years comparison between years of Birmingham and Hanuman.
What's happening there? But it is encircled. This one is encircled here. So it doesn't change?
Yeah.
I should be able to see that. I don't know what's happening there. What to do? I even don't see the. So this is this. Well, this is very unusual. Usually you could see my. So it's not changing at all. If I click,
it's not changing.
You only see this first one.
The first one, yeah.
So I'll try to export it as a PDF and show it as a PDF. I don't know what's happening because usually when I give a PowerPoint, it works like this. So I stop this and go back. Hmm. 2 minutes or even less, I hope. So now I will start the PDF. So if I now change, can you see now?
Yes, sir.
You see the house now. Okay, let's go on then. So this is the house.
Sharing the screen only we can see. Joseph, please check.
Sorry? Can you see the changing slides now?
No, Andreas, we don't see.
What is that? But it is shared here. Shown. So
maybe we continue without it.
Yeah.
Sir, can you do it one more time? Let's check one more time.
Sharing, yeah. So maybe I'll share the desktop as a whole. How's that? Can you
Yes,
see
sir.
now?
Now we can see the.
Now you see the changing slides?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So it is now with the whole desktop. So this is the house of Bönninghausen.
Check that, sir. The slide is not moving.
I'll just talk then without the slides, okay? Because this doesn't work. I don't know why. Usually it works. And it's also shown that it is being shown to you with the green around. So stopping. Slides are not moving. So just give me the whole. So I will talk, okay? Just talk without slides.
Okay, we will send after to the participants
Yeah, okay.
pictures.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what is interesting for Bönninghausen is what I said, that he was led all the time by his experience. And so he was a real scientist that followed his experience and not what doctors were and scientists were saying at his time, like Hahnemann also. So these personalities are important for homeopathy. Is my video also be seen?
Yes, we saw it.
No, I just mean my video here live now.
Yes, everything is okay.
Okay. So yeah, okay. I don't see anything here. And one thing is interesting because he has always been interested in botany, and he had a big farm, and he worked a lot also with animals, and he was one of the founders of the botanical garden. So he is very active in botany, and this was the starting point of his homeopathy because during that time of the botanic garden, he got ill, and his botanist fellows, which he was in contact with worldwide, they told him there's something new there, and he got sulfur and pulsatilla by a consultation, by a letter. So this is very interesting that this distant treatment already started with Bönninghausen when he was 45 years old, and he was someone who went through the country, traveling through the country, because he was in charge of the land registry, and he was known that everywhere where he arrived after he recovered from the tuberculosis, he really was talking to the people, and he was giving them homeopathic remedies. So he had a lot of experience traveling around and giving the people in the countryside, the poor people, free of charge, his remedies. Only after his resignation from administration, he needed some money, and then he was accused to be a doctor without having a doctor's degree, but through his connections, because he was an aristocrat himself, he made it possible to get the doctor's degree, so he was allowed to work as a homeopathic doctor, and he had a very big and successful practice. Many aristocrats from his region, and even the Queen of France, she once came to be treated. And Hahnemann in these later days, asked him to take over his clinic in Paris, because Hahnemann had moved to Paris. And this was, he nearly did that, but only when he was allowed to treat in Münster. He stayed in Münster, and later on we found out his son took over the clinic in Paris. So his first patient is a very famous poet in Germany, and she was even printed on the euro mark, money, paper money. So you can say she was saved by him. She also had a tuberculosis, and he was friends with her as she was young, Annette von Droste-Hülshoff. And there's a big story because we now know the whole history of her illness, and the researchers of this female poet, who's very important for the German poetry. They now have the whole history of her diseases, and it's quite impressive to see exactly which remedies she got, what was helped, and how he worked. So we have all the case documentaries of Bönninghausen, which are in the Institute of History of Homeopathy near Stuttgart. So it's a pity. I could show you all these historic photos, but you will get the PowerPoint afterwards. One important thing for homeopathy, I think, is the discovery of the general symptoms, which not had been there with Hahnemann. So this is something which we can see that every new generation in homeopathy has something to add. So it's like a tree where the roots are the most important for the beginning, the seeds, the roots, and every generation adds some new things, making the whole plant flowering and coming into size. So he was one of, I would put him into the stem of the tree of homeopathy, and because he was able by his mind, he was a lawyer, to put things into categories, and he read through the provings and found that there are red lines, symptoms going through. And he said, without these red lines, you are not able to really prescribe. So he made one of the first repertories. Maybe I can show you here. I still have a copy. This is not an original copy, but a photocopied, where you see his first tries on a repertory. Let me see if you, so it's the repertory of the antipsoric and the psoric remedies, and it was written in 1832, and this is only 4 years after his recovery from tuberculosis. So this was his learning of homeopathy, and it's a very big repertory, much bigger than his pocket repertory later on. So this was his first tries. Here are these first tries in. And after some time, he was always in a discussion with Hahnemann about his trials of making a repertory. Also, Hahnemann was trying a repertory, a systematic repertory. And after some time, he got the idea this could be shortened. So now the genius architecture of the new repertory, which is the pocket repertory, came to life, and this is a very small and short one, which is now used worldwide, and it still is very effective, and a lot of studies have been done on it. And I would say a homeopath should also be able to work with these repertories, because they are at the foundation, and until Kent they were really used widely, and it's good to know the leading points. So the thing is that he found out that the modalities go through, the sensations go through, the concomitants go through, and the locality go through. And this is how the repertory is ordered. One interesting thing, but this, I will show you that with the our monument. We have put the 7 question words which were famous for Bönninghausen. He wrote a famous article on why do homeopathic remedies in high potency work, and he ordered it with the quis quid ubi quibus auxiliis, quo, quo, modo, quando. These are 7 question words which say who, what, where, with the help of what and why, and in which way and when. So all these questions you have to ask yourself when you go through a case. And this is very general, and these questions are on his memorial. You will see the photos when I send the PowerPoint. And so this was a big achievement, that he gave a lot of explanations and was holding up the high potencies for homeopathy. And he was, after Hahnemann's death, he was the main person in homeopathy, and a lot of homeopaths gathered around him. And he founded a lot of societies, associations, and I think we still hold every month a meeting of homeopathic doctors in Münster, and I think this has not stopped since those times. So we feel we are kind of followers of Bönninghausen still, and meeting in his spirit. And his spirit was known to be a very tolerant spirit. He was always very curious, a little bit different than Hahnemann. He was more open-minded and could listen to the opinions of others. So I think this is an interesting polarity between these big spirits of homeopathy, that they were quite friendly, and the atmosphere was very much of cooperation. And so this was reported of the meetings when he was organizing meetings. But important to say, he was always interested in this exchange. So this is what we have to consider, that for good science, we need independent opinions, which Hahnemann as a founder might have, has, and this is his quality, to hold up the standards and the principles. And Bönninghausen would more represent the networking. Yeah? He was having a big network around Europe. This already started with his botany, where they exchanged the seeds around Europe and all around the world. So he had already a contact of botanists and a lot of connections, and he used these by letters in that time. You will see a map of all the influences Bönninghausen and Hahnemann had. There's a nice story I will share with you. This is with Carol Dunham. Carol Dunham visited Bönninghausen because he was a kind of legacy of Hahnemann in Münster 2 times even, in 1843. And there's a nice story I will share with you, which was told that when Dunham was at his house, we have a nice pathway around the city, which was the wall of Münster. Now you can walk around, and at that time also. And after sharing and sitting with Bönninghausen in his clinic, and I have to say his house was near that old wall around Münster, so it was now a green place where people could just have a walk and walk around the town. And he said to him, I feel you have a little bit of homesickness, Dunham. You've been so long now here in Germany. Is it true? You look a little bit homesick. And so Carol Dunham from US said, yes, could be. And said, oh, I have a good idea. I will show you the only American living in Münster. And so he took him for a walk to lead him to the only American inhabitant of Münster. So it needed about 20 minutes to have a nice walk around the city, the greenery of the city. And he led him to the botanical garden and put him to the, and they went to the tulip tree, Lyridodendron tulipifera, which he had planted in the botanical garden. And then he said, my dear friend, this is the, in my knowledge, the only inhabitant of the United States in this town. So he was presenting the tree as that friend. So this was, I think, a nice anecdote of the way he was dealing with and his humor also. So we like to have in Münster also to follow this tradition of people coming together in this town and discuss new activities of homeopathy. And in 2006 or 7, we built a memorial, which you have seen, I think, yesterday. And I share some photos, and you will see in one of the photos also the grandson of Bönninghausen, who's still living here nearby and who's good friends with us. I once visited him, and he showed me an original of the last copies of the pocketbook. So we have some living legacy here in Münster, and anyone from India, any colleague of India who just wants to see the old places here, he can contact me, I can help him, and I can show him the nice places. So in 2014, we organized, when it was the 150th day of Bönninghausen's death, we organized a big meeting with, I think, 120 people coming to Münster, with Rajan Sankaran was invited from India, and Heiner Frey, who's doing Bönninghausen therapy method from Switzerland, and some Elmar Funk and Norbert Winter, who have rediscovered the Burger approach and having a very active research on Burger. So we invited a lot of homeopaths to give a presentation in the legacy of Bönninghausen, and it really was fun to see how different schools of homeopathy were eager to know more about each other. And I recollect that from that time on, Heiner Frey regularly goes to Mumbai to teach Bönninghausen method, and Rajan remembered and talked about his experience with Fatak, which was his teacher. So it was very nice to see that there is a red line also going from the roots of the homeopathy, from Hahnemann to Bönninghausen and to the modern homeopathy, and that we are all communicating with each other in a friendly way. And it's good to have independent methods and to share these experiences. So the common ground is always the experience and the confidence we have among each others. So a personal relation is always good, and a meeting, and then also bridges can be built. So I think this is also the meaning of this whole conference, that we keep the bridges even in times of isolation. And Bönninghausen is a kind of symbol for that. This is the reason why I wanted to present him and his work as a legacy of homeopathy in the footsteps of Hahnemann. So maybe Roman,
yes,
we have still time, but it may be nice to have a little bit of conversation. You may ask something, I will answer. I could show so much more, but as the PowerPoint is not working, we can just use it and do a nice, lively conversation, which is the core of it.
which is always good, because yeah, I would like to ask to share some. Maybe you have some case or some practical apply how you till now use Bönninghausen method, and how it influences your practice.
Yes. Of course, the idea of Bönninghausen was the generalization, and to put it short, Burger took over the work of Bönninghausen and created nice repertories, much shorter even repertories than the therapeutic pocketbook. you know, everybody might know the general analysis. I have done some work on general analysis, and I'm doing my acute cases a lot on the general analysis. It's a pity I can't show, because I've even made a little software myself to use it. But to give an example, well,
Yes, maybe we can try. Maybe it will work now if you will try to show it now.
I think let's leave it. It's just 10 minutes we have.
Okay. No, we have more time. Don't worry. We have more time.
Okay.
But if it will take time to organize, doesn't matter. We just continue.
Okay. Let me try. I think I have to prepare it.
Okay, so we just go on.
Yeah, to share cases. I just remember I'm a medical doctor, so I have to do the duty here also for the town. And so just 2 days ago, I can share a case of COVID, acute case of COVID, which happened during the duty, which we have on the weekend, on Fridays even. When the doctors stop their clinics, we have a general duty. And this was a woman, she was living alone, and she complained of, and she was diagnosed COVID positive just the day before. And she was sitting at home. I visited her and had to examine her. And she had a full-blown severe picture. The fevers had gone, but she was covered with pains. It was horrible. She was like, I couldn't touch her even. She was shrieking out if you touched her. If she moved, she shrieked, and her pain was here in the back and everywhere, in the joints, everywhere. She was so much in pain, and really in despair, I would say. And she had a lot of thirst. And so for me, it was a very clear picture of Olpatorium perfoliatum. This is interesting when you see the picture. You don't need to repertorize. You just compare known characteristics. So she complained of being nearly breaking her back, and don't touch me, which very much looks like arnica. But Olpatorium perfoliatum is from the same family, and we know it has a big impact in these days with COVID. And only 1 hour after giving her the Olpatorium perfoliatum, so I have my little set of remedies also here, I phoned her back, and 50% of the symptoms were down. And she said, oh, I was already half asleep after the remedy. I got so tired. This was only 1 hour after taking the remedy, and the other morning the whole thing was gone. So it's a pity that we as homeopaths are not allowed to treat more COVID patients. And a little bit to share about the COVID situation here in Germany. We don't see so many patients because the lockdown is very strict, and we are again in a lockdown, and a prolonged lockdown, which is very annoying. But the patients, they all go to the hospitals, or we don't see them so much. We have some patients, and we are a group of colleagues who share them, and we see a lot of good results. So it doesn't look so difficult. And I think you also have that experience, Roma. I had a case of Antimonium arsenicosum, which was very impressive because he has breathing difficulties. And otherwise, to talk a bit about the German homeopathy and the situation, or
Before we go for German homeopathy, I would like to ask to stay for a few more minutes with acute cases and COVID, because this is a very big issue all around. So first of all, as you told before, it is so pity that in such very clear cases we can help, and even complicated cases we can help. How you help in Germany, you as a medical doctor and homeopath, and you as a presenter of your society, homeopathic society, how it is going on in Germany?
Well, I'm not a doctor of the official system, so mainly the doctors, the general practitioners who are homeopaths, they have a lot of cases in their clinic and they treat a lot. So we have a network of about 80 colleagues where we have a mailing list, and we with a part of them, I think 10, 12, we meet every Monday. And so I have quite a knowledge about cases. And usually bryonia is one of the best remedies, and gelsemium. And the more severe cases, we have good results with Lobelia purpurescens, which is a good remedy. Camphora is a good one, but it's you have to differentiate, you have to individualize. Yeah, but I think about half to 1/3 of the cases is bryonia, and it works quite well. The severe cases, you might need the antimonium, and especially antimonium arsenicosum has proven to be good. We have also knowledge about, from Austrian doctors, some patients who have been in intensive care units and have been helped with carbonium monooxidatum and carbonium deoxidatum and camphora. So very few doctors who are intensive care units are allowed, or they just try homeopathy, and we just collect them. And the moment they talk about it, it is going to, they forbid it. So it's not officially allowed, which is quite a pity. And I think nowadays we are more focusing on the long COVID cases. So this is a lot of people coming with weaknesses, fatigue, persisting symptoms. So this will be more and more the center of homeopathy, because in the acutes we are not asked. But for the long COVID, nobody knows what to do. So more and more people get to know that. And what is also interesting is that we have more and more experience now with treating the after effects of vaccinations. So this is now the very actual focus, and we have a lot of experience now with the vaccination nosodes. So maybe you don't know, but the ailments from vaccination, if you still have them after 2 months or 1 or 2 months, it's quite often helpful to just give the vaccination nosode, which we have now for Moderna, for BioNTech, and for AstraZeneca. So one colleague reported a case of a severe kind of eruption, purulent eruption on one leg from top to down, which has persisted a long time, so more than 6-8 weeks, and it was really, it recovered in a few days after, I think this was Moderna. And another case, I have several cases of fatigue, which went better by BioNTech. I don't know if that has been shared, but in our group we have found several cases of hypertension. So the hypertension people have, they might take remedies, allopathic remedies for hypertension, and after the vaccination, this hypertension just gets uncontrolled. And I haven't seen that reported in the public, but we alone in our group have 4 cases. I have a case also. That patient complained of heavy headache on the scalp, very much tension in the head, so it all looked a bit like gelsemium. But we found out that silica is a good remedy for this. So in my
For
case,
this hypotension, sorry, Andreas, to clarify, to this state of hypotension after vaccination.
after vaccination, yes. So
And
we know
that silica one of the best remedies for vaccinosis, for ailments from
yes,
vaccination.
of course. So this comes together. Yeah. My patient first had she had been a cancer patient before, and after which is already 5 or 6 years ago, and after the chemotherapy she went through, the radiation she went through, in those days she had a severe fatigue and a lot of symptoms, and homeopathy helped her out. And now with the vaccination, all those symptoms came back. So we see a lot of chronic symptoms which had been already in control, even allopathically, like the hypertensions, but also the old situations of the patients, the weaknesses, they come to the surface. So it's interesting that even after vaccinations or after the disease itself, there is a chronic state that emerges that you can see, and you have the chance to treat that. So it was interesting that after giving her the old remedy, which helped her a lot, which was phosphoric acid, which has this very severe headache on the scalp, and all some characteristics were there. Her hypertension went down again, and her fatigue got better. But there was still something missing with phosphoric acid in my patient, and this was removed by the BioNTech vaccination nosode. So it's good to individualize with the remedies the patient had as a chronic remedy, or you have to find it, or you have the chance to find it, because symptoms will indicate physical symptoms, and will indicate good remedies, new remedies you might not have thought of. And as a general, we shared, which are frequent after vaccination, is silica. Yeah.
Andreas,
you have to combine these different approaches and see the acutes, and then the chronics, and then the nosodes. So it's a work with these tools. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to support what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, we on our hotline, I will talk a little bit later about our hotline, but in our hotline, we are trying to bring homeopaths from all around the world and to discuss these issues. For example, all of us, we are knowing this rubric vaccination ailments from and so on. But we are talking about different methods, how to go through. And on our website, we have different methods collected already. So I would like to ask you, what is your method, how you apply to such cases, ailments from vaccinations? Are you trying to treat, as you told before, everybody about according one specific scheme, or you say, no, I will see in general what's going on, and then I will recommend? This is the first question. And the second question, what message we can send to the audience, to the wide audience who cannot come to homeopath, who cannot come to in every specific case. So we have to consult, we have to recommend. And for example, Dr. Jos Isaac, he recommend 2 year 200 before and 2 year immediately 200 after the vaccination.
Right.
The first step. And he has some recommendation like this. I know that there are some other schemes and recommendations all around the world, exactly like it was during need for prophylaxis and this discussion, do we need to do prophylaxis and not? So it was dividing the homeopathic society for two. Those who say, yes, give some remedies, and those who said, no, homeopathy is for what you see right now. Now, this group with prophylactic approach was divided. For those who said, you give arsenicum album, like recommendation of Ayush in India, or you give camphor, like Dr. Rajan Shankaran, or you give another remedies like model or scheme of Jeremy Sher. So this is my question to you, where we go to individualize each case and where we go for the whole public, and do you have your method to these issues?
Okay, I think this is still work in progress, and this would be my answer also. So usually when parents come for prophylaxis for vaccination, which nowadays is a regular request, we usually give the nosode before and after, because we know it helps. From other cases, we know the nosode is always helpful. But for now, I didn't follow this scheme of doing homeoprophylaxis. I want to see what happens, because we don't know this vaccination. It's a new kind of vaccinations. Maybe things are different with this one. So I would rather like to see the patterns that emerge after these different new vaccinations and see if the remedies work, which remedies work, to have a more understanding of the dynamics of these vaccinations, which is still unclear in my understanding, because it is a new kind of vaccinations. It's, I think the other vaccinations are more natural way, still artificial because it penetrates the skin, but the immune system is not tricked in the core. Huh? This is the new vaccinations. They are kind of modern, very sophisticated trick. Yeah? And we know from silica and duya, which are the main remedies for ailments from vaccination, that there's always, in a general theme, this theme of a foreign body invading, or something alien is there, which has to be shielded. So we have this theme, like we know silica is the remedy that can eliminate foreign bodies if they stuck into your body. So it's a kind of clearing of identity. This is the ruling theme of silica, identity. So to be strict with the identification and identity. And so silica, in my understanding, has that ability to clear who is who, yeah? And on an immunological way, to clear this is not my my protein, but this is my protein. So this is what the immune system all the time does. It chooses my and not my. And we can see that silica is in power of having this discrimination up to the mind. So I would, from our experience, would put silica very high. Even as a prophylactic, maybe we will find out it's if someone has a hypertension or some silica traits, you will give a silica. So if you have plant traits, maybe you give tuja. So, but we have to work out. So there might be some general recommendations, and if you can't differentiate, just give them. It works, let's say 70, 80%, which is quite a lot. And I would even say the nosodes are very easy to administer, because it's like isotherapy. You can just give the nosodes. I would recommend to first see their action, give the patients the nosodes, and then keep contact if you have time enough to keep contact with the patient, and they report the symptoms, and then give the remedy. Then you will see the specifics of the nosodes.
When you are talking about nosodes, what do you mean exactly?
Sorry, the vaccination nosodes I would give. So I hope everybody is able. In Germany, we have a pharmacy, Gudjon's pharmacy. You can order it there. So you have the is it called vaccination? No, so it's a potentized vaccine. So we have BioNTech, Moderna.
This is potentized vaccine, yeah.
Yes.
This is potentized vaccine.
We even should do a proving of these vaccinations one day to see the dynamics of this, what it creates.
Yeah, I hope we will have enough time because now they brought to the market, to their market, at least 6, 7, maybe even more vaccines, not only Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, G&G, and Sputnik, yes, and some others. So to do all these provings, it will take a lot of time, but we have to help now, you know. And by the way, these schemes and prophylaxis as treating schemes, they they're different in different countries and different approaches. But as we are working with many homeopaths from all around the world, and we are, I think that Birmingham is a very good example for us for open-mindedness and bringing all together as a network, as you said in your lecture before. We learn from each other what should be done, what could be done, and what must be done. For example, Alice Timmerman, you know, from Holland.
Yeah, good friend, yeah.
Alice Timmerman had searched in her institute, Hahnemann Institute in Netherlands, and they have a very good results of using kind of mix homeopathic potentized vaccination remedy. They took together several stamps of variation of COVID virus, plus added S protein together, and even add oscillococcinum in it, and they prepared kind of remedy called coronavirus nosode, and they have spectacular results with it. And we asked Alice Timmerman to share her experience on hotline, so it will be divided. It will be open to the public, to homeopathic profession, to see these results. And you know what I like with all these common projects, that people show with generosity their results right now, because we have to do something right now to do things.
Andreas Holling, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's already time finished. No, I want to move to another person, Jordan Welland.
Just a second. Your name is Jiti, yes?
Yeah, Jiti Manoj,
yes.
yeah.
Yes. Jiti, Dr. Joss asked me to moderate these 3 hours, so I know.
You know, no? Everybody, all the.
Yes, I'm in contact. Sarah, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much that you are our watch. Thank you.
I just check the timings, that's why.
Yeah, well, yeah, everything is okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So, Andreas, I would like to ask how you connect with each other, and how you collect this data, and what, according to your experience, and I know that you have a huge experience in provings, in clinic, in organization of homeopathic events. How do you think we have to come together and to bring into the profession?
I'm a bit disappointed that too little is done, and so I'm quite in contact with our organizations, and there are some, like the Austrian organization with Christoph Abermann, who is very active in these things. We do education among each others, and it's officially, there are some official trainings to homeopaths, homeopathic doctors, because the homeopathic high practitioners are not allowed to treat COVID, which is a difficulty here in Germany. But we are kind of being bound by the central Society of Homeopaths, because they say we can't allow to do this officially and in public. So we started to organize more informal networks, which are not organized by the central institutions, because they are being attacked immediately if they start to talk about treatment of homeopathy in COVID or post-COVID. So I think it's important to establish these networks, self-organizing networks, like your network, and with Jeremy Scher's work is just very nice, and I'm really a fan of your work and following your work. And I even think to use more internet and to use more video consultation will be the solution, and to have more organized structures, which is still more in Germany is in the phase of self-organizing and here and there. So if you don't have a central organization, it's more smaller groups that have to find each other. And this is how we met also, and we have also been doing a lot of work together, which I really appreciate. And these Zoom meetings are really a big opportunity to still keep contact. I think we should use it more and more. And now, since 1 year, I've been doing this in my country, and a lot of colleagues, which I didn't know before even, they are quite friends now. And I think you also experience this new thing. But it's so difficult to come into politics or into official acknowledgement. It's more like a subculture where people have to discover it, and it has to go by social media, by other ways, like Harry Fantasy always says, the way of the water, just go where it is needed. And then the experience will carry. So we have some contacts to universities, but they are always, they can't really officially stand to their homeopathy. I think, as has been since 200 years, we thrived from the experiences like that patient yesterday. I talk about it to other colleagues. I talk about it, and the colleague and that patient will be a follower of homeopathy. So we can only be bold and tell people, well, we can treat this. But it's not good to put it in the public so much. So keep it in circles, and the circles will grow by themselves, because you will meet like-minded people, and they will tell it others. So it's not a PR action. This will not work. It's real growth and organic growth. So we have to go that way, which is a bit slower, but I think it will be more sustainable on the long term. It has more power. It's coming from the experience itself.
You know, in a book, Cathedral of Parisian Mother of God, there is a place where one character is talking to another, and he said, look, you see stones. Once stones were the books, but after that, stones started to create buildings, and you see buildings. So by buildings, by first buildings, people not only create homes and houses and the places to live, it was a language. But then he said, look, and now this is a book. So book as a form of bringing and spreading information will kind of destroy these monuments of before era. And now we are living in an era where people less and less are reading books and more in internet. And even what you said now, it's very important, even from a point of view of development of homeopathy. So, of course, we see that the spreading of this disease, last disease, modern disease, was mainly because of infodemia and not pandemia. Because media is using all tools to bring it. And we know that it's not so severe disease. Yes, of course, if it's necessary, we have homeopathic tools to help. But I think that parallelly, these worlds are developing. First is what is coming from outside, and this is an attack we have on humanity, you can say, by some forces. And another is our possibility to stay there strong and to defend ourselves, to defend humanity as well. So we have to use the same tools, but in a good manner. And that's why what you suggested and what we already are doing now, and this wonderful forum presenting homeopaths from all around the world, and your idea to bring cases and to study cases together, not only paper cases, not only book, and not only to wait for publications for a long time. I would like to stress and to say how I'm happy that there is such a platform like H-Party, which is very informative and which is very in helping homeopathy. But we have to go even further. One of the steps we underlined on Hotline, we started to take cases online, not just cases. For example, Dr. Joss Isaac and Dr. Ajit Kulkarni and Dr. Alexander Fadiev and Dr. Svetlana Popova and myself, and we started to take cases online where other people, I mean, other homeopaths are there, and then we can not only study together, discuss together, prescribe the remedy. Of course, there is a homeopath for each case, and he has to take homeopathic responsibility and to treat it and to hold it. But we can be together online in time, and then we can learn from each other without going by flights and by buses and spending a lot of time. So this is one of things we are doing, and one of things we are doing, we will talk about it a little bit later with Dr. Popova and Dr. Fadiev, and if you will stay there with you as well, because you have been there, about new provings of this new era, but it will be a little bit later. Andreas, before we finish, if you have some final message or some story or case or just congratulations, please. And then I would like to Jürgen to become our guest.
Yes.